Do you remember as this Lent began on Ash Wednesday, as we do every Ash Wednesday, we proclaimed that gospel about how we're not supposed to be like hypocrites. And when it comes to almsgiving, when it comes to fasting, when it comes to praying, rather than doing it in a show-off kind of way, we are called by the Lord to do them privately, to do them secretly. He talks about going to pray in your room, and the Lord who sees in secret, sees what is hidden, will repay you. Those words are spoken at the beginning of every Lent, and little would we have guessed that we'd be called upon this Lent to a very private experience, as big gatherings of public are not helpful during this COVID-19 health crisis, national emergency. It strikes me that that gospel set a great tone for the Lent we've been given, however the Lent we planned was supposed to go. We will be fasting. Certainly, of course, on Ash Wednesday, Good Friday, like we're supposed to, yes, but fasting some of our freedom. Fasting from some of the events, perhaps, or even prayer experiences we enjoy. Fasting for the good of the greater society to slow down the spread of this virus. If you find that at all frustrating, maybe a good use of it would be to offer it up to God for those who are going to suffer through all this. Almsgiving, we're going to be called on to be generous. I hope you're doing the rice bowl and any other charity you would do for almsgiving. Certainly, without mass attendance being what it could be, our St. Dominic's is going to have a financial cost with smaller collections, I would imagine. We will see. Our people are good and generous. We will see. But generosity in other ways is going to be called for. To generously accept for the good of others the sacrifices you have to make, that's an alm. Perhaps you have a neighbor or relative of maturity for whom going to the store and they've been so crowded would be difficult. Maybe call, have them leave a shopping list on the porch, do it for them. Even little gestures like purifying our hands, observing social distancing, not complaining, and being supportive of others are all a way of doing charity right now, of giving alms. And then prayer. I had a priest friend of mine once, an older guy, who used to say, we call it worry, but worry is just deep prayer of the heart. Some of what we're feeling and thinking as we watch distressing news stories, some of what you think when you drive past normally crowded places that are now emptier, this is really prayer up to God. And as we can't necessarily gather on Sundays for many for whom that wouldn't be helpful, the obligation's been lifted, maybe you can choose to watch the liturgy on television, EWN, CFN. Maybe you could read along yourself at home with the scriptures available online, or if you have a resource like Magnificat or Daily Bread. And these experiences, not the communal we used to, that we love, that we do so well here at St. Thomas. These experiences, secret in your room, much like the Lord was calling us to in the gospel that was proclaimed Ash Wednesday. This is the Lent we were given. There's every possibility to get spiritual gold out of it. Not as we would have planned, but how it was given. You know, Lent is not the end of the story. Lent is preparation for Easter, a resurrection. And on the other side of this crisis, especially if we mine the spiritual gold God is offering us here, what an Easter like no other will we be given. The day the emergency was declared, there was a mass prayer by coincidence. Let me offer up that prayer right now as a way of wrapping up. For all of us here experiencing this crisis, for all in our nation, indeed, in all the world, especially those places so badly hit. Bestow upon your servants, Lord, abundance of grace and protection. Grant health of mind and body, grant fullness of love and charity, and make us always devoted to you. Through Christ, our Lord. Amen.